running water is an all too familiar sound if you live in Newtown for all the wrong reasons.
This is constant. This is 3 days. 3 days of sitting down here watching that.
Since Saturday night, Dina Wilson and her husband have stayed up around the clock trying to keep the waters at bay.
We're just trying to save what we have.
Every 15 minutes or so, they're sweeping water toward the pump in their basement on loan from the fire department. It's a never-ending chore.
We gotta go right back up here. We go right back up here and start all over again, because if we don't, it'll be flooded. Look, that water's just as high.
And they know firsthand the damage a flood can do.
We lost everything. 97.
Now neighbors are helping one another, and some of them show up in uniform. Newtown police are going door to door, mapping out homeowners they've contacted and documenting damage.
So it seems the one recurring problem is sewer water backup in the basement. Yeah.
Just be careful coming down these steps.
Meanwhile, Wilson is barely staying afloat under the stress of fighting an enemy that won't recede.
I just like to take a nice hot bath, you know, hot shower. And for him to be able to go to bed, you know, and get a night's sleep in his own bed. But we'll be all right.
Yeah, some resiliency there, though. But imagine having to live without water in your house for 3 days. They haven't had running water, so it's a long time. And really, there's no telling how long it's going to take until they can dry out that basement or that water stops seeping in. As far as 32 here goes, police tell me that this road will be closed at least for a couple more days. Reporting live in Newtown, Molly Laird, WLWT News 5.
All right, Molly, thank you. Certainly feel for the Wilson family out there and so many others just like them. Newtown police, by the way, say they've contacted about 90% of the people in town. Officials say give them a call if you haven't talked with them about damage to your property.
All right, so our chief meteorologist Kevin Robinson joining me now here over in the Weather Center. And we did have a big break for a couple of days, dry weather to help us out because we have more rain on the way.
We do have more rain on the way, and coming up I'll discuss whether or not that rain's going to have an impact on the Ohio. You know, it's been slowly receding, and every time we show you those numbers up there, they look really tiny in number, right? But they are significant in terms of the area of land that they're beginning to reveal right now. So here's a look at the Ohio River. It's going to be a slow improvement. That's the theme through the end of the week. Right now, current river is at 58.01 feet. It remains above 56 feet. That's moderate flood stage through at least tomorrow night into early Thursday morning. It will fall below flood stage by Saturday. So here's kind of the timeline graph, and you'll see how that basically shows the Ohio River falling from our crest on Sunday. Unfortunately, there is more rain on the way. Temperatures right now in the 60s. I'll let you know how much longer the mild and, well, at least dry conditions stick around. Mike Sherry.
All right, see you in a bit, Kevin. Thanks so much. The Red Cross in the greater Cincinnati area continuing its effort with flood relief, offering temporary shelter to flood victims. As many as 45 people were staying at the Alexandria Community Center at the height of the flooding. That shelter is still open, though only about a dozen people are still there. New Richmond High School serving as a temporary shelter. It is still open. Most of the people they have seen there is a dozen at a time, but they say that they will keep that shelter open. A Red Cross shelter at Mount Washington's Rec Center has not seen much activity, but it'll stay open until further notice. Lawrenceburg High School no longer serving as a shelter. The Red Cross closing that one yesterday because it wasn't being used enough. The Red Cross also has a hotline for people dealing with storm and flood damage. The number there on your screen right now, big bold numbers. You can leave a message after hours.
Arming teachers. Should your child's teacher carry a gun in school? It's a subject that has our area's second largest district very divided. WLWT News 5's Karen Johnson is live for us in Liberty Township tonight. Karen, Lakota School Board meeting last night got pretty heated, I understand.
Well, that's right, Sherry. I'm told it was heated and also emotional. You know, when it comes to arming teachers, that is one subject people have very strong opinions about. And last night, both parents and community leaders spoke up at the meeting, and not everyone was on the same page. A community divided.
There's no one more important than the children, and they should be protected by guns. 100%.
If teachers started carrying guns, what says that the kid couldn't get the gun from the teacher?
The controversy spilled over into Lakota's school board meeting last night.
It was very emotional, very heated. People had very strong opinions in what they wanted in the schools.
No doubt, Sheriff Richard Jones had a hand in packing the board office.
If you're a parent, You need to demand that your school board do something.
After our interview with him last week, he remained outspoken on the issue, taking to Twitter, urging parents to go to school board meetings and post names and numbers of board members. He even started free CCW classes yesterday for Butler County teachers.
Just putting an one-armed or two-armed people is not enough. You need more.
Lakota Board President Julie Schaefer says of those who attended the meeting, it seemed as if community members without kids in the district supported arming teachers.
And what we heard last night, at least from our families, was more that they would prefer to keep guns out of school.
Lakota leaders say they're not rushing into any decisions, and nothing is off the table.
So we're really looking at every component. We're going to meet with our school resource officers, with our safety committee. We want to talk to our staff. We want to talk to other law enforcement agencies, not just locally, but nationally, what are best practices.
You know, I talked to other parents today who just say they're on the fence with this issue. And the one father who I spoke with who is in favor of arming teachers, he also believes there should be a selection process. So really, we're dealing with a complex issue and lots of different opinions. Reporting live in Liberty Township, Karen Johnson, WLWT News 5.
All right, Karen, thank you. By the way, tonight at 7 o'clock, the Hamilton School Board has its meeting. The sheriff once again taking to Twitter, urging parents to attend tonight's meeting. We'll have it covered for you.
Tough criticism from lawmakers against the FBI and Broward County authorities after that deadly school shooting down in Parkland, Florida a couple weeks ago. The gun control debate still churning in Washington. House Speaker Paul Ryan speaking out, saying Congress's top priority is to ensure background checks while also protecting law-abiding citizens.
We shouldn't be banning guns for law-abiding citizens. We should be focusing on making sure that citizens who should not get guns in the first place don't get those guns.
So coming up in about 5 minutes, the questions and concerns being brought up as students at Marjory Stoneman Douglas prepare to go back to school. Well, the pay gap between women and men remains roughly around 20% difference. At least that's the figure that most frequently is being used.
Yeah, and so as the number of female candidates rises now, so does the interest in closing that gap. In Commitment 2018 tonight, WLWT News 5's John London talks with some of those candidates for us and joins us now live with their take. John?
Yeah, and Cherie, still a political hot potato after all these years, but more and more women running for office are unafraid of getting burned. They're taking it on as a flat-out fairness issue. In her small business world, Jessica Miranda is keenly aware of the wage gap. It grates on her that women are paid 80 cents for every dollar men get. That's not all women, she's quick to point out.
You know, subgroups of women, African American women and Latinas, that's even lower. So it definitely is real.
Pause button. Wage gap skeptics make these points. Women historically work fewer hours and hold lower paying jobs than men. They conclude the disparity is driven by demand, not discrimination.
It's a family issue. It's a kitchen table issue.
Jill Schiller, who like her fellow Democrat Miranda is running for office this year, views the disparity as an issue of pocketbook equality for society at large.
And I think that if we have a nucleus of women really from either side of the aisle, you're going to see some real action on this because it's not a conservative or a liberal issue.
First-hand account. Christine Fisher, another candidate, says promotion rates where she works remain very different. I studied computer engineering in college and was in a class with less than 5% women, she tells us. Our public policy and culture are still leaving women behind. The gender equity push cuts across party lines.
I can't believe that in 2018 we're still having this discussion.
Republican Nancy Eichholz, running for county auditor, says women cannot afford to back off on this issue.
I don't think it needs to be a big fight. I think it needs to be conversations that constantly happen with the people that are making the decisions.
The decisions in Ohio are made by a legislature where the gender gap goes 78% men, 22% women. And they believe without equal representation in the halls of power, equal representation on payday is doomed to always have some sort of gender gap. Reporting live, John London, WLWT News 5.
John, thank you. So according to the Institute for Women's Policy Research, fully closing the wage gap would significantly reduce poverty for women who work. The Institute estimates it would also add hundreds of billions of dollars to the national economy.
Well, a labor of love on the west side of Cincinnati.
And all these houses are in rough shape, and so it's going to be a long process.
The large rehab project now underway in Lower Price Hill. What one of the first homeowners is saying about her future home and future community.
But first, battling the country's opioid addiction. The new efforts unveiled in Washington today. Kevin?
And afternoon highs into the 60s this afternoon. Yep, it's late February. I'll let you know how much longer the near perfect mild weather sticks around and when rain could spoil things. Your forecast after the break. You're watching Cincinnati's WLWT News 5.
You're watching WLWT News 5, leading the way.
Students return to Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida tomorrow, the scene of that deadly mass shooting that left 17 people dead 2 weeks ago. Today, some survivors were in our nation's capital meeting with members of Congress. WLWT News 5 Sally Kidd is in Washington in our Washington bureau with more on today's meeting.
Cherie, a handful of students met with lawmakers from both sides of the aisle. Now, the Senate is expected to take up a background check bill in the coming days, which the students say doesn't go far enough. Making the rounds on Capitol Hill, students who survived the Parkland school shooting urging lawmakers to pass tougher gun laws.
They said universal background checks is number one. We agree.
Republican leaders say expansive new gun laws are not the answer.
Of course we want to listen to these kids, but we also want to make sure that we protect people's due process rights and legal constitutional rights.
Republican Congressman Steve Scalise, who nearly died in a shooting last year, is calling for accountability, too.
I think the most important thing we can look at is what about all the laws that are already on the books that were not enforced, that were not properly implemented?
The starting point, a bipartisan Senate bill aimed at strengthening the National Instant Criminal Background Check System, or NICS.
For years, our colleagues across the aisle have said that they want reforms that will help stem the tide of gun violence perpetrated by dangerous criminals. Well, this is their chance.
But Democrats say the so-called Fix NICS bill is too narrow.
We don't want some window dressing. We want to move to substantial accomplishment.
If we were to only debate the Fix NICS Act, we would be slamming the door in the face of all of these kids who are demanding change.
The White House says the president will meet with a bipartisan group of lawmakers tomorrow and could be releasing some policy proposals by the end of the week. In Washington, Sally Kidd, WLWT News 5.
Yeah, and just to sort of expand on what Sally was saying there, the White House says the president continues to support raising the age requirement to buy certain guns, and that is expected to be a topic of discussion when he meets with lawmakers tomorrow.
One of the 17 victims of that shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School has received a posthumous letter of admission now to the University of Connecticut. 14-year-old Alex Schachter dreamed of going to UConn, being a Husky. He was known for often wearing a sweatshirt with the school's logo. UConn officials heard about this, heard about his dreams, sent the family a letter this week. They say that they hope the small gesture gives some comfort to his family and friends. Meanwhile, a real-life lesson in civil disobedience underway right now in South Jersey as students left their high school there in New Jersey to support a teacher who voiced concerns about their safety. Hundreds of students walked out of classes today calling for their teacher to be reinstated. This AP history teacher was placed on administrative leave for reportedly saying something like the Florida shooting could happen at their school because campus officers just aren't armed. Students were warned by the school principal that they would be suspended if they walk out. Ohio's Attorney General Mike DeWine was in Washington today to talk opioids. He met with U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions, thanking the federal government for their efforts, including a new task force that will target drug manufacturers.
The experts tell us that 80% of the people who are addicted to opiates today started with pain meds. And that's why your action today, frankly, makes us very happy.
Officials say the opioid epidemic has claimed more than 100,000 American lives.
Habitat for Humanity now making a difference in the Lower Price Hill area. The organization kicked off the first of several home renovations today. The organization says the rehabs are part of a partnership with several other nonprofits. Officials say they're gearing up for a lot of hard work here that will thankfully get done with some dedicated volunteers. But there's also a unique aspect to all of this.
Sure, we can't take on every project, but what's unique about this project is Oyler Community Learning Center is just across the street and is the anchor of the community. And everything around this community has to do with Oyler School.
And I'm moving in the most exciting time in Lower Price Hill because it's changing. So I'm in a good space, good time. You know, very excited for my family and the community.
So when the work is all wrapped up, the Thomas family will be the proud owners of a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home. Congratulations, guys. Habitat for Humanity will be renovating a total of 7 homes in Lower Price Hill.
Well, Sky 5 is in Claremont County tonight. This is the New Richmond area. You know, this was a widespread deal, obviously, this flooding situation, but some areas got hit worse than others. New Richmond is one of those hard-hit areas for sure.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Mike, when you look at this flooding and how it was right there and still is inside homes and businesses, you know, the good thing about this particular flood, as dangerous as it has been, we have not had anyone die or be seriously injured, unlike what we saw 20 years ago back in '97 when we lost, 8 people. Let's send it over to Chief Meteorologist Kevin Robinson for a look at when this water will finally recede. It's starting to creep back, right, Kevin?
Yeah, it is, Cherie, and the numbers seem really small. The increments seem small to us, but as I can tell you, the folks along the river are realizing that even these little small incremental drops along the Ohio River are actually helping out quite a bit here. The problem is it is going to be a slow process, and it will take it through the weekend for it to happen. Current stage on the Ohio River right now holding at 58.01 feet, and it's slowly falling, and it's going to continue to slowly fall essentially through really the weekend around here. It will drop below moderate flood stage, it looks like, late tomorrow night, early Thursday morning. That's 56 feet. And then finally back into its banks by the weekend, under 52 feet. So it's going to be a very slow process, but we're going to get there through the end of the week. Now, we've got some rain coming our way. Fortunately, that rain's going to fall over a duration that's long enough that it won't have a significant impact on the falling Ohio River. Unfortunately, this rain is also going to help initiate some cooler weather moving in here over the next couple of days. So I hope you got outside and enjoyed the very spring-like weather today. Right now, we're still resting comfortably in the low 60s outside. We've got ourselves a nice southerly breeze at the moment. Temperatures around the area generally hovering close to 60. Just about everyone made it into the low 60s this afternoon. Keep in mind, we should only be in the middle to upper 40s, so we're about 15 degrees above normal. It's 62 in Hamilton, 60 in Dry Ridge, 61 right now in Maysville. So here's your evening forecast. Very nice for it to still be winter. Even though we aren't far away from the start of spring, we've got a nice evening coming your way. Just a few clouds. You'll probably already starting to notice some of those clouds streaming in. We're going to fall back into the 40s here. That cloud cover is preceding our next wet weather maker. There it is tonight as you head down towards the confluence of the Ohio and Mississippi rivers into western Kentucky. You can see the rain in southern Missouri, much of Arkansas tonight. This is the next weather feature that will head our way, bringing rain by the end of tomorrow morning's commute, if not maybe a little bit sooner. So it's quiet through the night. Clouds will build in here. Here we are at 7 a.m. I'm actually thinking that this area of rain is probably a little bit faster than that. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you to prep for a wet morning commute tomorrow. The wettest part of the day will be before lunchtime. After lunchtime, things begin to dry out, although a few showers could certainly linger. More rain moves in here, it looks like, late tomorrow night into Thursday. And then some of that could even be with a few rumbles of thunder. And then that rain moves out Thursday afternoon as it turns much cooler. So not as cold tonight. Clouds will build in here. We'll only drop into the mid-40s. We'll only drop close to where our high should be for this time of the year. Expect a wet morning commute tomorrow. Rain, especially early in the day, 55 for a high. Here's your day planner. Again, towards lunchtime, we'll start to dry out some for a little bit of a drier period in the afternoon before more showers move in tomorrow evening. Here's your 7-day forecast. More rain on Thursday, and then we get another stretch of dry weather taking us into the weekend. You can make those outdoor plans, but notice it will be cooler, though. Highs only in the mid-40s, close to 50, and those nights will be cold back down in the 20s.
All right, Kevin, thanks so much. Singer, entertainer, and author Dolly Parton getting quite the recognition.
Why the Library of Congress is thanking the country legend. Let's just say that it involves a